hang on. July 8 is a Monday. So it's going to be released Monday. Now, while I pull this up, let's go to... Okay, so here, we're going to get into specs in a second because I see it just hit Geekbench right now. And you know what? Let me go ahead and run Geekbench on the 2A because I don't think I have run it. And while we're talking and while this 2A is testing, we'll refer back to this 2A and its Geekbench score so we can compare it to the Nothing phone. Oh, see, caught myself. To the CMF phone 1. Geekbench. I don't think I've... Did I run it on here before? I sure did. Okay, sweet. So I have these. Actually, you know what? Let me run a new test because this is the latest software. Doesn't make a difference. You can score different. So let's go ahead and run another test. So let's do a CPU test. Do all my apps out of the background? Yes. Everything's updated? Yes. All right, let's go. All right, so I'm running Geekbench. Let me go ahead and do the Nothing Phone 2 as well because it is updated on new OS. So we will run Geekbench on here as well. And then we will compare scores to the ones that are online. Let's go. All right, so while those are running, let me show you what this thing looks like. And I'm sure you can tell from the thumbnail, right? But let's take a look. Okay. Let me open this up in Chrome. There we go. All right. So here we go. Nothing's first, CMF phone. So this is very interesting. Now, they can't just... I think this is good. Let me show you what it looks like. I think this is good, right? From CMF. It essentially has Moto mods. Does everybody remember Motorola, like with the Moto, what do they call it? Z2, their flagship device from a few years ago, Z3, Z4. Remember how it had Moto mods? How you could essentially purchase accessories from Motorola. I don't know if any third parties made accessories, but you can. It looks like you can buy modifications, accessories from CMF to add to the CMF Phone 1. As you can tell here, this little dial. So this explains a lot because when they leaked at the very bottom of this a month ago, it's like, what the hell is that? Like, is that a dial? We had no idea what it did. Now we do. It's essentially a marker and or a screw, right? You can screw it in, you can take it out. Screw it in, screw it out. But you can also add accessories in there. And you see where it has this little lanyard on here. Now look at this. Look at this phone at the bottom. See how it has a kickstand on there? So you can put a kickstand on there. You can put a lanyard on there. Now look at this. Look on the top right. It looks like... Now I don't know exactly what that is. It looks like an extra battery pack, maybe. Maybe a wallet holder, right? Now look. It has screws. And not only does it have this dial, and it has a Phillips screw head right here, but it also has a screw up top, on the bottom left across from this dial. And it has another screw on the top right of the back of the phone, and I'm sure it has one on the top left of the back of the phone. Now you can change back plates on here. You can buy another color if you want. If you want this blue back on the back of your CMF Phone 1, I'm sure you could buy the blue back on there. You can mix and match, buy all sorts of accessories. It's kind of cool, right? So I think this helps because what makes Nothing stand out from its competitors Not only the super smooth and fast operating system, Nothing OS is freaking badass. It's one of my absolute favorite operating systems in the world. Not only does that stand out, right? Customization and all that stuff, but the design sets it apart. When you first look at it, you don't even have to pick it up. You don't even have to start using it until you can physically see, oh, wow, that's cool. That's so different from any other phone, right? So CMF, this phone is so cheap. There's no way they can put a glass back on there. Or a see-through glass on there. There's no way they could put the glyph lights on there. Remember, this is a budget phone, so the profit margins on this device are razor thin, meaning the cost, CMF, per device to manufacture compared to the or the profit they make from the sale of the phone. So just an example, if it costs CMF or nothing, $140 for all the parts, all the labor, putting it together, box, shipping, everything. If everything totals cost them $140 to construct this device, they're selling it for $240. Their profit's about $100, right? That's a lot less than what Apple makes on each phone, on average, on each model. That's less than what Samsung makes per model. So how the profit margins work. So Apple, I believe it was the iPhone, was it the 15 Pro or the 14 Pro? Cost them roughly $420 to make each phone, right? When it's all said and done, parts, labor, manufacturing, $420. It's either 15 Pro or 14 Pro. Now, they sell that for roughly $1,000. Now, some of that, there's taxes involved, and they're not pocketing all of that profit, but roughly 80-90%. So they're almost making double. Roughly double of what they invest in each phone. Samsung, about the same, right? Double. There's a healthy profit margin if you don't manufacture too many, right? Because what if you manufacture 1 million of these phones, but only 600,000 are sold? Well, you got to get rid of those extra 400,000 just to make some money back, right? So again, we're not going to get into that really, but getting back to what stands out, this stands out from any other budget phone, right? So because not many other devices that are quote unquote budget, this is not even a mid-range phone. This is a budget phone. The other budget phones that you see are essentially, I'm going to be nice here, but are essentially crap. And look, and I get it, right? If you're on a very, very tight budget and you simply can't afford a flagship phone, I get it, right? I'm not criticizing that. I'm just saying the quality that you get in a budget phone is not good. If you look at a Samsung, and right off the bat, when you buy it brand new, hey, they make them look nice, shiny. They actually work fairly smooth. Any budget phone, relatively smooth. Right when you pull it out of the box and start using it, it's down the road is when you're going to experience issues. Month 2, month 3, month 6, month 8, 12 months, 16 months, 18 months. That's when it's going to have major issues. It's going to get sluggish. Probably your storage is going to be out. It's going to skip. It's going to skip to my loo all over the operating system. It's just not smooth. These are not made to be. Look, they suffer from a lack of RAM, so to speak, and a poor performing CPU. Other budget phones, not this one. Now, not only does does this one. We'll get into specs in a minute. I believe this one's going to perform wonderfully, but it looks different. Getting back to the looks, no other budget phone basically has quote-unquote moto mods like this one does, right? So it stands out right off of the bat. You're like, whoa, that's pretty cool. Very cool. Here are some back plates that you can put, or that you can buy and put on the CMF Phone 1 yourself. So you're gonna have so here's the deal. Nothing is saying the device, the phone. I'm gonna make this mistake quite a bit, and I apologize. The CMF Phone 1 is gonna come in black, is what they're saying. However, I don't know if they're going to include one extra color in the box, or if you will have to buy either one or the other three colors and then slap it on your phone, right? Because they're saying it does come in black, but we also have blue, light green, and orange. Very cool. This mint one, blue, light green, it's just like my S23 Ultra. And that mint green one. Now, I love that orange color. I love the blue color. I actually love all those colors. The mint green looks pretty similar to that. Very cool. Now, look at this. So, here are... Now, this is going to be plastic all the way around. But that's a good thing. Actually, like... You know what? The Nothing Phone 2A is all plastic. I kind of like it. It is light as a paper clip. It is light, and I have a feeling this one is going to be too. There's no metal, well, I guess there is glass, but you get the point. Let's see here. Let me show you. Do we have any new photos? Ooh, look at that. That's nice. That is a nice shot. I love that orange color. Let's get into the good stuff. Let's check out specs, right? We want to get in. So there was it was Geekbench. It was benchmarked. The CMF Phone 1 was benchmarked. Let's see what it got, because these two phones right here just finished. So let's go over these scores and see. Actually, you know what? I'm going to tease that. Let's look at these specs on the spec sheet and see the difference. And then we'll get into the scores so we can see why each one scored the way it did, right? So let me pull up. Is this the overlay? Yes, it is. I have that one. Let me show you what I got. There we go. I got it. And actually, it's loading up right now, and this might actually get in the way. Let me remove this. Here we go. Here we go. Is this in the way? No, we're good. Okay. So, check this out. All right. So, here's the specs. This is the comparison everybody's been waiting for. There's a little surprise. Actually, I can think of two surprises right off the top of my head. All the leaks we've gotten so far. So the CMF Phone 1 is on the left side. It's on the left side of the screen. Actually, it's labeled up there. You can see them. Phone 2A right in the middle, and then the Phone 2 on the right. So it goes from least in the smallest, I guess, so to speak. Or I guess we can go by prices. So the cheapest phone, CMF Phone 1 on the left. The middle child, the Phone 2A in the middle, and then the big boy, Phone 2 on the right. Although they are all the same size, but you get the idea. Okay, can y'all see that? I tried to make it as clear as possible. So there's two things right off the bat that kind of I noticed that were different from all the other leaks. Initially, we got leaks that it was only going to have 6 gigs of RAM. From this screenshot right here, It shows the nothing. Jesus Christ. It shows the CMF phone 1 has 8 gigs of RAM. Hallelujah. Praise the Lord. Big difference between 6 gigs of RAM and 8 gigs of RAM. Big difference. You may not think so. There's a huge difference. Now, I'm talking about in performance. The way it feels, the way the user interface is, right? When you're using the software. Big difference. Do you want stuttering or do you want smooth? So I was actually pretty disappointed when the leaks were first started to come out, seeing it had 6 gigs of RAM. Like, God, don't do that. Today, hallelujah, 8 gigs of RAM, and it's going to include RAM expansion, right? So we got, let me pull this up. So we got 8 gigs of RAM. Now, I don't know of any other base models, right? Because, excuse me, I don't know if this is the base model or if they're going to include a more premium storage package, right? I just don't know. Let's see here. Let me pull this up. But we got to work with what we got, and this is what we got so far. Let me pull this sucker up here on my end. There we go. Zoom in, zoom in. I'm getting older, so are my eyes. So, on the left, CMF Phone 1. Let's go over the specs. So, it's going to have Nothing OS 2.5.0, which probably going to have an update within a day 1 update, I'm assuming. All the other devices are past 2.5, but it is what it is. Now, the RAM, let's jump into that since we were just talking about it, and then we'll move on. RAM, 8 gigs of RAM. It says 8 plus 2 gigs. So that means it's got 8 gigs of RAM. Plus 2 means you can add 2 gigs of virtual RAM, meaning you borrow 2 gigs of RAM from your storage, from essentially the SSD on there. You can use that. So I guess technically it has 10 gigs of RAM, which is phenomenal for a device that costs $240. Freaking badass. And it shows 128 gigs of storage. Now, hopefully they'll have a 256 gig. I don't know if they will. Typically a budget phone, and this is like bottom of the barrel budget phone. What other budget? Look, this one's a little special because I'm not going to talk. You're never going to hear me talk about another budget phone unless it makes really, really big news. Just simply because they're not worth talking about. If you want me to be completely honest with you, at least in my eyes, right? So I don't know. A lot of budget phones don't have the big storage variants because they're like, well, if you're gonna buy a phone with 256 gigs or half a terabyte, then why don't you buy a flagship or a year-old flagship or a 2-year-old flagship that you can get 512 gigs of storage, right? So that's kind of, remember, they're trying to make a profit on here, and it's not easy when the cost is $240. So I think this might be, don't quote me, here's my guess, I think this will be the only storage variant. I hope I'm wrong, but we'll just have to wait and see when the 8th rolls around, 8th of July. Okay. Cameras. Rear, 50 megapixels. Front, 16 megapixels. Guess what? That's the same sensors, same cameras on the back as the Nothing Phone 2A and the Nothing Phone 2. Both the 2A and the 2 have a pair of 50 megapixel shooters on the back. And then this new CMF Phone 1 has got 16 megapixels on the front selfie camera. Should be okay, right? Look, again, it's a $200 phone, so you can't expect it to take pictures like the Pixel does, right? Or the OnePlus 12, right? Which, by the way, has my winner as the very best camera phone available, and I will prove it in the next day or two when I upload my video. Now, let's get into the CPU. CMF Phone 1 is going to rock a MediaTek Dimensity 7300 CPU. So what does that mean? Is it good or no? Maybe. And here's my theory. So the Phone 2A, as you can tell, and right here in the middle, the Phone 2A has what do we got here? It has the 7300 Pro. 7300 Pro from MediaTek. Excuse me. The CMF Phone 1 has the Dimensity 7300 base model, just flat 7300. The 2A has a 7300 Pro. So this 7300 CPU, it is technically the same CPU, but this is about an 18-month-old CPU. Don't get too down on this because nothing has been working behind the scenes with MediaTek specifically on the CPU, on the 7300 Dimensity chip from MediaTek, right? Been working behind the scenes, tweaking it, writing custom code, custom kernels, all that good stuff to maximize the performance out of this thing. That's one thing I was really worried about when the launch of the 2A was coming out. I was very excited for the device, but the only thing I was not confident in was the CPU. And what do you know? The 7300 Pro, they labeled it a Pro because nothing, essentially, as I mentioned, worked with MediaTek, and it's like the 7300 on steroids. They squeezed every last bit of performance juice out of this 7300 Dimensity chip and threw it in this 2A. This 2A is a $350 beast of a phone. If I had to use the 2A as my daily driver, I would be ecstatic. I would be very happy. It can handle everything I throw at it. I was blown away by what they put together with this 2A. That's why I have a ton of confidence in the CMF Phone 1. I think they've earned in my opinion, they've earned my benefit of the doubt. Because if any other company puts out a $240 phone, I'm going to tell you probably right off the bat, it's crap. Whatever. I'd rather you get a 2 or 3 year old flagship phone at a price similar to a brand new budget phone. But this one, I think, is different, and that's why we're talking about it, right? So we'll look at the benchmark scores in a second. I got the 2A and Phone 2 benchmarked. But what else we got? Battery. Let's compare the battery, right? You know what? I'm mistaken. Holy crap. I can't believe I just did this. So, the last 5 minutes, erase that from your brain. The Phone 2A has the Dimensity MediaTek 7200 Pro. 7200 Pro. The CMF Phone 1 has the MediaTek Dimensity 7300. 7300. Again, Phone 2A 7200 Pro, and the Phone 1 7300. So essentially, what does that mean? What does that tell us? That the 7300 is the second generation, or I shouldn't say second, but it's the next generation of the Phone 2A's processor. All right. So again, 7200 Pro on the 2A and 7300 on the CMF Phone 1. So that's good news. I was expecting it to be the lesser version of the 2A CPU. I was mistaken. It is not. It is the newer version of the Phone 2A's CPU. That's good news. That's fantastic news, because this CPU in the 2A is blazing fast. All right, look, again, it's not topping any benchmark scores, but I'm talking about using it, like physically using it every day, day to day, all multitasking. And I don't game, so please take my words with a grain of salt, right? Because everybody uses their phone different, and we all have to understand that, right? We all have to understand that. I don't have one game on my phone. I haven't downloaded a game. You know what? I don't think I've downloaded a game ever. I'm trying to think. It just hit me right now. Ever since I started using cell phones back in 2000. Well, I've used cell phone back in 2001 was my first cell phone. That's 23 years ago. But I'm talking about this current generation of smartphones. 2008 was when the smartphones really started taking off. I've never downloaded a game. So take that for what you will. If you're a heavy gamer, you might want to invest in a 2 or 3 year old flagship at relatively the same price used for one of these brand new. But if you're somebody like me, or even light gaming, look, this will be fine doing light gaming. But I'm a heavy multitasker. I'm talking 30 apps open in the background, editing videos, editing photos, heavy multitasker. Phone 2A does everything my S can keep up with the S24 Ultra as far as multitasking, right? Heavy workload. Now, I do have 12 gigs of RAM on this model, which helps out tremendously. But remember, this CMF Phone 1, you can get 10 gigs of RAM. I think we're looking good here. It just hit me, and I do apologize. These specs were just leaked, and it's kind of fuzzy. So I was like, wait a second, what the hell? I apologize. Now we can move on. So CPU, A+. I mean, that's as good as A+ would be Snapdragon 8 Gen 3, but they're not doing that. Remember, they're trying to make a profit. It's $240. You can't expect a Snapdragon 8 Gen 3 in a $240 phone. This is about as good as you're going to get in a $200 phone. I'm telling you, this thing's going to be badass for $200. Cameras, same sensor, same cameras on the Nothing Phone 2A and Nothing Phone 2. Screen, 6.67 inch AMOLED display. Now they're all AMOLED across the board, right? Now each one's a little different. So the CMF Phone 1 has all it says in the specs is a 6.7 inch AMOLED. That's it. Phone 2A, 6.7 inch flexible AMOLED. And then the Nothing Phone 2, a 6.7 inch LTPO AMOLED display. I've seen different reports saying that the CMF Phone 1 will have LTPO. It will have 120 hertz refresh rate. That's what I was saying. Leading up to this, I don't see much difference in the specs between these three phones. So how is the one on the very right, the Phone 2 on the very right, $700 brand new? The phone in the middle is $350, and the phone on the left is roughly $240. So how do you get relatively similar specs, right? And then you get a price range from $240 all the way up to $700. It is what it is, right? Battery. CMF Phone 1, 5,000 mAh battery. Phone 2A, 5,000 mAh battery. Phone 2, 4,700 mAh battery. Now, let's get to the good stuff. Let's get to the good stuff. Benchmarks. Where am I at? Here we go. Okay, so let's see what this scored, and I'll show you my scores from the other devices. So, let me see. What are these pictures showing? So here is the CMF Nothing Phone 1, giving you some more specs, right? So, phone number, email, okay, Nothing Technologies, certificate. So this is the certification by the NBTC. Here's a little hint of why it may not be sold in the US. If it does not go through the FCC, if it is not certified through the FCC, it's probably not going to be sold here in the US, right? It is what it is. That's a little, every single consumer electronic device has to be certified. If sold here in the United States, FCC has to stamp it and put its seal of approval on it before you can sell any electronic device in the United States. If we do not see a FCC certification, it will not be sold here in the United States. Now, you can still get one, and we'll get to that later, but let me go over this little spec sheet real quick and see if there's anything we're missing here. Does it have... I'm trying to see if it has the bands on there. Where are we at? GSM. Okay, so here are the scores. So this is the... Hang on, I'm switching pages behind the scenes. Come on now. What the hell's going on? There we go. Okay. So here are the scores, right? So now this is the phone 1, and I just ran the same benchmark this phone 1 did with my phone 2 and 2A, and let's see the scores. So now remember, the CMF phone 1 is running the newer MediaTek Dimensity 7300. The phone 2A is running the MediaTek Dimensity 7200 Pro. So, I just got a score on my Nothing Phone 2A, a single core score of 1131, and a multi-core score of 2599. 2599, and as you could tell, the CMF phone 1 scored a 1016 points on the single core, 2630 on the multi-core. And again, here are my specs for the 2A. 1131 and 2599. So this Nothing Phone 2A edges out the CMF phone 1 in single core performance, but that's where that new Dimensity chip kicks in. Is the, I'm sure they upgraded it has a upgraded GPU internally with that new CPU, and that's where you get the little higher score from the CMF phone 1, just barely edging out the Nothing Phone 2A. This is good news because I told you, if this phone is blazing fast, I love this thing. Very buttery smooth, no hiccups, no stutters, takes really good picture quality for the amount. Remember, it's a budget phone. You can't expect it to perform like a Pixel or the OnePlus 12. However, it takes good enough photos for a $200, $300 phone. This tells me, these scores tell me that this phone will be able to perform and basically perform all the tasks that you need it to. Honestly, I guarantee we're going to get one of these. I'm going to use it as my main phone for a week or two and try to throw everything at it. I'm going to load up all my apps, photo editing, everything on it, see if I can get it to stutter, see if I can get it to hiccup, see if I can get it to trip up, and we'll see. I don't know. This one had no issues. This one was taking everything I was throwing at it, right? So this is good news, these scores. Now let's see the Nothing Phone 2, right? Let's see what these scores are. Now I'm going to release a video since Nothing is not releasing the Phone 3 this year. They said they're going to wait until next year to release the Phone 3. I'm going to put out a video probably sometime this week, possibly next week, discussing should you still buy the Phone 2 now that we know they're going to keep it as their flagship for another 6 months, essentially, being their flagship device for 18 months, 20 months. Should you still buy it? Is this still a good buy in late 2024? I'm going to put that video out. You may be surprised about my answer, but make sure you subscribe to the channel so you can look out for that video. Okay, so here's the single core score on the Nothing Phone 2 compared to these. So this Nothing Phone 2 got a single core score of 1727 and a multi-core score of 4463. Single core 1727, multi-core 4463. Look at that. So this phone still performs wonderfully. It blows away the 2A and the CMF Phone 1, but that's to be expected. This has a flagship CPU in there, right? And GPU. The Snapdragon 8 Gen Plus 1, still mighty performer. You may be surprised, but these benchmark scores beat my Pixel 8 Pro. So this Snapdragon 8 Gen Plus 1 benchmark scores on the Nothing Phone 2 are better than my Pixel 8 Pro. Now, we will see. We're getting the 9 Pro. We're going to see here in just a matter of weeks if this Nothing Phone 2 can still beat Google's best with their Pixel 9 Pro. I have a feeling it's going to be very close. But that's going to be an interesting video. Well, to look forward to. It may not be good news for Pixel fans, but it is what it is, right? So let's see. Is there anything else? Here you have some. I'm almost done. Here you have some information on the new CPU. It's real blurry though. I can't. Oh, here we go. Can I read this? Yes. Okay, so this is the all-new CPU. Again, this took me by surprise. I thought it had the old CPU in there. No. I was mistaken. So you're getting technically a better performing phone in a $240 phone in the CMF Phone 1 than the Nothing Phone 2A. Remember, it had better multi-core score. Now, I tend to focus on multi-core. Single core is fine for simple tasks, but when you're multitasking, when you got a ton of apps in the background, when you're editing a video, when you're doing all sorts of stuff, the multi-core is where it's at, right? So look at this real quick, and then we'll get out of here. Flagship grade, leading edge manufacturing quality that extends battery life even further. So this is built on an ultra efficient 4 nanometer node class chip. Now again, this is the MediaTek 7300, MediaTek Dimensity 7300. That's in this new CMF Phone 1. Accelerated gaming, combining MediaTek Hyper Engine optimizations with 4, count that, 1, 2, 3, 4 big core processors and the latest high performance graphics engine. Now the CPU has got an octa-core CPU, again 4 ARM Cortex A78 cores, has an ARM Mali G615 GPU, which is 20% faster frames per second and 20% better energy efficiency. Battery life on this CMF Phone 1 should be freaking mind-blowing. I'm expecting 2 days out of this. Am I pushing it? Is 2 days asking too much? I have a feeling this is going to be a battery beast, a battery king. It's going to have a 5,000 milliamp hour battery in a super efficient battery. Battery life on this 2A, phenomenal. I cannot wait to see how little energy this new CMF Phone 1 sips. I zoomed out. Here we go. Enhanced AI. Who cares? I'm done with this phone AI stuff. It's just a bunch of mumbo jumbo, in my opinion. It's not really AI. Now, it's a catchy phrase for 2024. Is it really AI? Really? I mean, I don't know. I'm skipping that. I don't even care about that. Look, I got all these AI features on these phones. I don't even use them. I use Circle to search, and I think that's it. But is that AI, or is that just Google image search on steroids? Anyways, getting back to the Dimensity 7300 from MediaTek, sharper billion color displays, right? So impressive high detail displays with true color visuals deliver premium cinematic experiences in all the media world. WFHD plus display up to 120 hertz. Up to 120 hertz means it will be LTPO. It's probably Gen 1, right? But still, that's good, right? So it's a variable refresh rate. 10-bit true color, global HDR standards. Where we got transcendent image quality. Capture brighter, more vibrant 4K HDR videos and crisp, clear photos in any lighting condition. Right? 200 megapixel camera. Now, this is not, they don't have a 200 megapixel camera on the CMF Phone 1. We're talking about this CPU. So MediaTek puts out a PR kit, a media kit, graphics that they want everybody to see, that they put out to the press, that they put out to the public. Now, because remember, this new CMF phone is not the only phone this chip is going to be in. It's going to be in a Realme phone probably in a few months. It's going to be in maybe an Oppo phone in 4 months. So they're letting you know what it can handle. So this MediaTek 7300, this Dimensity 7300 can handle up to a 200 megapixel sensor or camera. Now it's 30% faster live focus, 50% faster photo remastering, hardware noise reduction, 4K video HDR with 50% wider dynamic range. What else? Let's see. Fast, reliable, always connected. Supremely fast and reliable multi-gigabit wireless connectivity plus MediaTek's exclusive connectivity enhancements up to 3.27 gigabits per second. 5G downlink with an advanced 3cc CCA. MediaTek 5G Ultra Save 3.0, whatever that is. Dual 5G SIM, right? With dual voiceover. That's nice. Voiceover internet VoIP. Typically it's just one, so dual is good. Wi-Fi 6E. It's not Wi-Fi 7, which would future-proof you for here on out, for at least for next generation, and that's going to be a while. But nonetheless, remember, this is a quote-unquote budget chip or a budget CPU, so you can't expect it to have the world, right? So that's fine. Plus, nobody has Wi-Fi 7 anyways, so it is what it is. It's not that big of a deal right now. Bluetooth 5.4, that is key. Whenever you look for new technology from today moving forward, whatever you buy, earbuds, phones, even this is implemented even in cars. From here moving forward, look for Bluetooth 5.4 in whatever electronics you're buying. 5.4 is the newest, latest standard of Bluetooth. And with each, I remember when Bluetooth 5 came out, it flew over a lot of people's heads. Many people are not like, whoa, the new Bluetooth version came out. I did that. I'm a nerd. But 5.4, outstanding performance, outstanding range. Bluetooth continually gets better and better and better every year. You are going to want to have Bluetooth 5. If it comes down to Bluetooth 5.4 to 5.3, look, if the 5.3 is kind of the only option you have in whatever you're buying, fine. But if you have an option between getting a Bluetooth 5.4 device and a 5.3, go with the 5.4. A longer distance, a stronger signal, and you're going to future-proof yourself maybe for another year, at least when it comes to Bluetooth. Not that moving forward after a year, you're still going to be good, but I'm just saying in the next generation of Bluetooth, I think they're going to 5.5 and then they're going to jump to 6, Bluetooth 6. But they're going to sit on 5.4 here for about a year. So you're going to want 5.4 if that's in your deck of cards, so to speak, right? So this is good, long story short. MediaTek Lightning Connect, and MediaTek UAC 2.0 antenna optimization technology. Sweet. Any other stuff? No, that's it. All right, I got to get out of here. I think we've examined this phone inside out, top to bottom. Check it out. So if you want to win one of these, now I don't have one to give away. However, I do have a link for you to enter somebody else's giveaway, right? So I will be getting one of these. I'm going to reach out to Nothing to see if they can send me one. If not, I'm going to buy it myself. It's $200. And we're going to test them. Before we get out of here, buying it. Where do you buy it, right? So if it's not certified by the FCC, it's probably not being sold here. However, that doesn't necessarily mean it's not a bummer. It doesn't mean, I can't get one now. No, you can. However, they're going to launch this on July 8th, correct? So if they do not release it in the U.S. officially, they could have a developer program, right? Which is how I got the Phone 2 and the Phone 2a, now that I think about it, which is you can still buy it in the U.S. if you want to. It's just not like officially sold in the U.S. Now, it comes with regular, stable firmware. Don't think it comes with some janky developer software. No, it comes with stable software as every other phone gets around the world. However, if this is not, the CMF Phone 1 is not sold in the US officially, they could sell it out on a developer program in the US, right? So there's an option. Or if they don't sell it in the US officially and they don't have a developer program for the US, wait about a week, maybe 2 weeks, and then I guarantee you they'll be all over eBay. Now, this is $240. Now, there's going to be a little more expensive if you buy it on eBay, just warn you, because whoever's selling it on eBay, now, Nothing's not going to sell it on eBay. It's somebody that's going to buy 5 or 10 of these, keep one, and sell the rest, right? Now, they're going to add on a little money on top because they got to make a profit too, right? So, instead of $240, buying it from Nothing, you're probably going to be paying, I'm guessing, $299, maybe $340. They may add another $100 on top. I know they did that with the Phone 2a, but I'll tell you what, if you're interested, subscribe to our eSIM Studios YouTube channel. We're going to cover this extensively, especially on launch day. Come back here, join our live stream, and we will cover if you're interested, where you can get this, and how you can get it. If it's not sold, we'll find a workaround. There's a workaround for anything, right? So you're in the right spot if this interests you. If phones interest you, you're in the right spot. Hell, if the whole technology world interests you, you're in the right spot. eSIM Studios, we cover all consumer electronics, all mobile technology. That's what we're here for. So I got to roll. Appreciate Brian. Let's see. What'd you say? It's selling. It's a selling feature for them, like all features. It's just a gimmick unless it's utilized regularly by the end user. Correct. Thank you for stating that. I should have stated that, but you did a good job summarizing that up. Correct. It is a gimmick unless you use it, right? I've had multiple things where people say, "Oh, it's a gimmick" on Reddit all over the place. I'm like, really? I use it all the time. So appreciate it. Thank you. I got to roll. Join us tomorrow. Holiday tomorrow. I'm still working this YouTube channel, right? I'm going to bring y'all all the latest and greatest technology tomorrow on a holiday. So everybody's going to be off work. Come join us, eSIM Studios. I'll put a community post out tomorrow. We'll have some fun stuff going on. Why don't we do a giveaway or something as well tomorrow? Celebrate the 4th of July here. It's not going to be super long. I always say that, and it's long. But same time, same place tomorrow, guys. Peace out. Take care.